Hello everyone. Welcome to this exciting lecture series on electrochemistry. In this video, we are starting a brand new topic which is the redox reactions. But before we dive into the full concept, let us break it down by understanding oxidation and reduction separately. Let us begin with oxidation. So what exactly is an oxidation reaction? Oxidation can be defined in a few different but related ways. First, it is the loss of electrons from a substance. It can also mean the addition of oxygen or a more electronegative element to a compound. Or it might involve the removal of hydrogen or more electropositive element from the substance. All of these definitions describe situations where the substance becomes more oxidized, meaning it is either gaining oxygen or losing electrons or hydrogen. Let us look at a couple of classic examples of the oxidation. Here, sulfur burns in the oxygen. Sulfur in the solid form and oxygen is in the gas form. Sulfur gets reacted with the oxygen to burn and form sulfur dioxide. Here, in this reaction, sulfur is combined with oxygen, which is clearly an oxidation reaction. Another everyday example is the combustion of methane. Here we can see that CH4 gas reacting with oxygen to produce CO2 and H2O. In this case, carbon from the methane is getting oxidized to carbon dioxide. So, whether it is a burning fuel, a rusting metal, or even cellular respiration, oxidation happening all around us. Alright, now that we have covered oxidation, it is time to dive into the other half of the redox reaction, which is the reduction reactions. So, what is a reduction reaction? Well, just like oxidation is about losing electrons, reduction is all about gaining electrons. Any substance that gains electron during a chemical reaction is said to be reduced. But that, that is not the only way to define it. There are few more ways to recognize a reduction reaction. So, in other forms, a reduction reaction can be stated as the addition of hydrogen or more electropositive element to any compound, or it might have involved the removal of oxygen or a more electronegative element substance from the element from any substance. Now, let us check out a couple of examples. First one, we can here see that we are adding hydrogen across the double bond. Here, ethane is getting hydrogenated to become ethene is getting hydrogenated to become ethane. Here, when hydrogen is being added to the double bond or to the carbon atoms, it means that it is getting reduced. And in the second example, iron goes from plus 3 oxidation state to plus 2 oxidation state. Again, it is about gaining electron, so it is being reduced. We can see that FeCl3 chloride ion have an oxidation state of -1. So by balancing the charges, Fe or the iron have plus 3 charge. Here in the product side, here are two chlorines. It means that there is overall -2 negative charge and the iron should have +2 positive charge. As the oxidation state of iron is getting reduced from +3 to +2, it means that it is a reduction reaction. So anytime you see a substance gaining electron, losing oxygen, or gaining hydrogen, you're probably looking at a reduction reaction. Now, let us bring it all together, the oxidation and the reduction, into what we call a redox reaction. A redox reaction is basically a chemical reaction where electrons are transferred between two substances. Here is how it works. One reactant loses electron, that is the oxidation. The other reactant gains those electrons, that is the reduction. So it is always a paired process. If something is oxidized, something else is being reduced. We can easily spot a redox reaction by watching the changes in the oxidation state of the reacting species. For example, let us look in this reaction. If reactant A loses an electron, okay, its oxidation state goes up, then it is the oxidation. If the reactant B gains that electron, its oxidation state goes down. It means that it is being reduced. So that is the reduction where the oxidation state decreases, and that is the oxidation where the oxidation state getting up. So to summarize, oxidation is the loss of electron and an increase in the oxidation state, and the reduction is the gain of electron and a decrease in the oxidation state. This concept is absolutely beautiful, and it is a key in understanding not just the chemistry but also real world applications like corrosion, combustion, and even how our bodies generate energy. Now, let us talk about the real players in the redox reaction: the oxidation, the oxidizing, and the reducing agents. So here is a method on how to spot them. An oxidizing agent is a species that accepts electron. Since it gains electron, it undergoes a reduction in the redox process. On the flip side, a reducing agent is a species that donates electron. It is the one that gets oxidized. So basically, oxidizing agent gets reduced because it takes electron, and a reducing agent gets oxidized because it gives away electron. Now, here is a cool trick. Any redox reaction can be broken down into two half reactions. One is the oxidation half reaction where electrons are lost, and the other is the reduction half reaction where electrons are gained. And here is the important part. When you write these half reactions, they have to be balanced properly, especially with respect to the number of electrons involved. In that way, the full redox process makes sense and follows the law of conservation of the charges. Let us dive into the first type of redox reaction, which is the decomposition reaction. So what exactly is a decomposition reaction? In simple terms, it is a type of chemical reaction where a single compound breaks down into two or more simpler substances. We can see that or observe that any general compound in the form of AB, when it is being divided into A and B are the two components, then it can be a decomposition reaction. Let us look at a couple of examples to make it more clear. Here we have sodium hydride, and it breaks down into sodium and hydrogen gas. We can see that here hydrogen had the oxidation state of -1 in the reactants, and in the product side the oxidation state of hydrogen is 0. So as the hydrogen oxidation state changes, it is a redox reaction. Also, the oxidation state of sodium ion is being changed from +1 to 0. So it is also a getting reduced, and it is a oxidation reaction. Hydrogen is being oxidized and sodium is being reduced. In the second example, we see that water is being split into hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. Okay. In all of the above reactions, the breakdown of a smaller compound in the form of AB to A plus B. We have compound A and B, and the constituent components are breaking down into their respective elements. We will talk about the opposite of decomposition reactions, which are the combination reactions. As the name suggests, these reactions involve the joining or combination of two different substances to form a single compound. Okay, the two or more different compounds join to form a single element. The general formula can be A plus B. They are getting reacted to form A and B. So to further clarify, let us go through some of the examples. Here we can see that H2 and chlorine gases come together to form the hydrogen chloride, which is a strong acid. Second one, carbon and oxygen are being combined to form carbon dioxide gas. Now, what makes this a redox reaction? Even though it looks like a simple combination, there is actually electron transfer happening. One element gets oxidized by losing electrons, for example hydrogen, and the other gets reduced by gaining electron, for example chlorine. Okay, so these are both of these are the combination reaction, and they are the type of a redox reactions. So the combination reactions are not just basic, they are also classic example of redox reaction in the action. You will see these type of reactions all around us, from the combustion in engines to the formation of acids and the oxidized in the labs and in some of the industrial processes. Now, let us talk about the next important type of redox reaction, which is the displacement reaction. In this kind of reaction, an atom or ion in a compound is replaced by another atom or ion from a different element. The general form looks like this: x plus yz give rise to xz plus y. Now let us break that down. Element x comes in and kicks out y from the compound z. So x takes the place of y, forming xz, while y is being released in this reaction. Okay. Now depending on what gets oxide displaced, we divided this into the two main categories. First one is the metal displacement reaction, and second one is the non-metal displacement reactions. So the displacement reactions are like a chemical game of a musical chair. Some elements get replaced and the whole electron balance shifts. Let us zoom into the first category of displacement reactions, which is the metal displacement reactions. In this type of reaction, a metal that is already part of a compound gets kicked out or displaced by another metal that is more reactive. Okay, this is not just classroom chemistry; it has real-world applications also. For example, in the metallurgical processes, where we extract pure metals from their ores using more reactive metals. Let us look at a classical example of copper sulfate and zinc. Here is what's happening. Zinc is more reactive than the copper, so it steps in and it replaces copper in the copper sulfate solution. So as a result, we get pure copper in the products, and we get a solution of zinc sulfate. So this is a classic example of metal displacement reaction. Next, we will talk about the second type of displacement reaction, which is the non-metal displacement reaction. In these reactions, it is not a metals that doing the replacement. Instead, we see things like hydrogen being displaced, which is quite common. Sometimes, though rarely, you may also encounter hydrogen displacement reaction, but those are less frequent. These reactions shows us how non-metal elements can be reactive too, especially in case where hydrogen gets replaced by a more reactive element. Now we will study about the disproportionation reactions. These are a special class of redox reactions where a single substance gets both oxidized and reduced at the same time. Okay, the same reactant undergoes two opposite processes. Let us look at an example. Here we see that P4 getting reacted with the sodium hydroxide and water, and it produces a component like NaH2, PO4, PO2, and the other component as PH3. Here we can see that P4 have split up into the two components. First one is in this form and second one is in this form. The phosphorus in the reactants have oxidation state of 0, okay, but in the products it have in the pH3 an oxidation state of -3, and in the second compound phosphorus have a oxidation state of plus 1. So from 0 it goes to plus minus 3 and plus 1 oxidation state. So a single component is being oxidized in this compound and being reduced in the pH3 compound. So this was the disproportionation reaction. Let us now break down a classic redox reaction example, the reaction between hydrogen and fluorine. Okay. In the reaction between the hydrogen and fluorine, the hydrogen is oxidized where fluorine gets reduced. This simply means that hydrogen loses electron and fluorine gets the electron. The reaction can be written as H2 plus F2 give rise to 2HF. This is the overall redox reaction showing the combination of both elements into the hydrogen fluoride. The oxidation half-cell reaction is given as H2 being converted to positive ions and in this reaction it gives off its 2 electrons. The reducing half-cell reaction is F2 plus 2 electron and give rise to 2 fluoride ions. The electrons released by the hydrogen ions are being combined with the fluorine to give us the fluoride ions. So after that, the hydrogen and fluorine ions go on to combine in order to form the hydrogen fluoride, which completes the redox process with both oxidation and the reduction steps. Let us now continue with another classic example under the redox reactions. This time we will study a metal displacement reaction involving zinc and copper. We have already studied this reaction, but here we will study this reaction in detail. First, we observe that this reaction involves zinc metal reacting with the copper sulfate solution. Zinc is more reactive metal and can displace copper ions from the solution, forming zinc sulfate and depositing solid copper in the at the electrodes. The full balanced redox reaction is given below. Zn plus CuSO4. We can see that zinc is the solid metal and copper is also a metal which is combined with the SO4 forming a copper sulfate solution. And in the product we have seen that zinc have replaced the copper. Okay. Looking at the electron transfer in the oxidation half-cell reaction, zinc actually loses 2 electrons becoming Zn2 plus ions. So 2 electrons are being released by the zinc. Meanwhile, in the reduction half-cell reaction, copper ions in the solution gains these 2 electrons and are reduced to metallic copper. So Cu2 plus ions from the solution gains these 2 electrons and form the solid copper. Okay. So here we can see the overall reaction. Zn loses 2 electron and it is the oxidized product. Copper 2 plus ions, they receive or accept these 2 electrons and these are the reduced product. As we have seen that zinc have reduced the copper, so it will be the reducing agent, and copper have oxidized zinc, so it will be the oxidizing agent. Thus, copper is displaced from the copper sulfate solution by zinc in a redox reaction. This reaction clearly demonstrates that how oxidation and reduction occurs simultaneously. So that is all for the lecture. I hope you have learned something new, and with the help of examples, you have comprehended the idea of redox reactions and their applications in the real world. Thank you.